Welcome to the SA Update. I'm your host, Mike Schuster, and I'm excited today to kick off our first Zoom episode. And we've got a special guest today. We've got Amy Weber. Amy's the Chief Executive Officer and the co-chairman of Cambridge Investment Research, which is an investment financial solutions firm for 3,800 professionals and their clients. And we happen to be one of those here at Schuster Anderson. We're proud to be one of them, I should say, Amy. Um, Amy has been with Cambridge since 1998, and you're employee number 22, which is awesome. And you're only the second CEO in the firm's history. Amy's got numerous awards that she's received, so I only picked a couple today to highlight. She's a very impressive background, as I said, including the 2024 Think Advisor Executive of the Year and the 2022 WealthManagement.com CEO of the Year. Amy, I'm thrilled to have you with us today. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk about this awesome topic you've chosen.
Yeah, so for the viewers, I've chosen AI as our topic today, and Amy's very accessible at our conventions that we go to for Cambridge. And so I happened to bump into her this year, and her and I ended up having a 20-minute conversation on AI. So thank you again for that. So at the end, I asked her, I said, Amy, would you mind being on the podcast and let's talk AI in the financial services industry? So, Amy, first, I want to kind of start with last year, you started talking on your podcast and you started talking on stage about integrating AI into what you do every day as a CEO. Talk a little bit about that and some of the things that you're doing.
Great. Good question. So I'll actually back up just a little bit to, I had a dream 15 years ago that we would have voice-enabled technology for ourselves and for our clients, our financial professionals like you. It took all this time to figure out that AI is really the way that we're getting there. It's not necessarily voice enabled, if you will, but boy, it is a time saver. And it allows us, my son is 25 years old and he repeatedly reminds me that humans actually can't multitask. From a pure definition, it is impossible to do, Mom, as I tell him that I'm multitasking on something. So I think what AI gives me, honestly, as the leader of our organization, is a partner to help me get better at what I call multitasking, which is trying to, the way that we present it at Cambridge is we're giving ourselves and our clients the gift of time. We can't add more hours in the day, but we can certainly use things like AI and other tools to be more efficient, more effective, quite honestly, more accurate. You have to trust but verify. It isn't always going to be accurate, but as you know, I'm sure the more you feed into whatever AI tool you're using, it gets better and better and better and more accurate, and your verifying time becomes less and less. And it just really has allowed me to use the different tools to do research, summarize. I don't know about you, but I get thousands of emails a day. I can ask one of our AI tools that we use, Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, to actually go inside and summarize all the emails I've received today on a topic. So just, again, that gift of time and the ability, like we all feel the need to do today, which is to get so much more done in our work hours than maybe we had to 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, and what's funny is that was the one thing you talked about, summarizing your emails. And we just recently, after we had a continuous improvement team from Cambridge, and added the Copilot. And I'm telling you, I don't even sweat reading email anymore. I enjoy it because AI can help me with that. And I'm a math mind, and so it's been such a good thing. So you really are a trailblazer in the financial services industry with this, because you talk to colleagues across different areas. Talk about the integration and how you were able to do that within Cambridge. And you did, of course, talk about the importance of it, giving us time back. But talk about how you've integrated it within the company here.
Yes, so we started the journey internally and made sure that we understood enough about it internally before we jumped into external for our clients, if you will. Certainly, we are an early adopter. I do talk to my colleagues at other firms. And I do think that rightfully so, caution, learning, making sure that you're training your financial professionals on not putting private customer data not to use it to build models without making sure that it's correct. All of those important things that most firms get very worried about. But the very first thing you have to do is you have to hire talent who understands the topic. We have 850 to 900 employees on any given day. And some of them probably have dabbled in AI before we even began our AI journey. But in the end, they still weren't the experts. You need subject matter experts that can help lead you through this type of evolution at our level. And that allows us then to turn around and help our advisors with it and make sure that we are doing the due diligence on the tools, implementing and integrating it. Internally, like I said, we use Copilot because we use Microsoft products, but slowly dripping, educating and encouraging people. Change is hard. And AI can be intimidating. And there's some people who, don't even want Alexa or Siri in their life, right? And they put them in the closet, unplug them from the wall. And so you've got to really work through it together as a team, set a vision on what you're trying to accomplish, and start by having fun with it before you actually really get to how it can help you from a business perspective. Because as people get more comfortable with it, like you said earlier, work tasks become enjoyable that may have been mundane because it gives you the time to be creative, customized, personalized, all the things that are important in our business from a relationship perspective, and not have to do those mundane tasks. And as soon as you get people understanding and grasping that, it really starts to snowball, and it goes pretty quickly at that point in time. Show people the results, and once they have a positive result for themselves, they will get on board.
Absolutely. And I think I might have heard this from one of your teammates or a podcast I listened to. AI will not take your job, but a company using AI will either take the business that you're working on or part of your position at one of those cliches type things. But truly AI, you have to be an adapter. So one of the things, I think it probably need to talk about the other side of AI a little bit. The risks of AI, because they're always talking about, someone will ask Elon, hey, I think AI is going to take over the world and such. Talk about that within the financial services industry as it relates to what you see in your chair as the CEO.
Yeah, our industry, maybe up there with the medical field, is one of the most regulated industries out there. And we haven't gotten a lot of guidance yet, though I do believe that it's coming. There's been some task forces within regulators and governments that have been created to try to understand it from their level. So I think we'll get more, but we can't just wait around for that. And I guess the way I think about this is we have to be cautious about cybersecurity. There is risks in everything that we do. Does that mean that we stop using computers and we go back to telephones? Probably not. We learned from it. We do the best we can to do due diligence and build protocols and security procedures around it. For instance, again, I'll say we would never encourage our financial advisors to put or speak into an AI tool any of their clients' personal and confidential information. Be cautious. Make sure you know what you're using it for. But from our perspective, we can't let that kind of thing squelch innovation. Innovation is how our industry is going to propel itself into the future as a more successful division, financial services overall. And clients expect, look, they use Amazon, they use, a lot of other tools, and they're expecting our financial professionals and us to deliver a similar experience. And so we've got to, again, it's not a silver bullet. It's not 100%. There's always risks in everything that we do. Understand your risks. We have lots of committees. Again, staff up the technology department to make sure that you're watching just like you would for cyber and fraud. But we just made a decision as a firm that it was the future, and we needed to embrace and walk into the future, recognizing the risks and managing them.
And being a techie myself, I really applaud you for that. That's why I wanted to have you on the podcast today. So I appreciate that. One of my last questions I'm going to ask you is, at the last conference we were just at, they talked a lot of talk about AI note takers. I don't know if you want to comment on that, because I thought that was a fascinating discussion about that and use of it. And really, are you using an AI note taker to help you out?
I have not gone there personally yet, but what I do know, I talk to a lot of our advisors, is that Jump in particular is one that we have done due diligence on, we have partnered with, and on average, what I'm hearing is advisors are saving 4 hours per client meeting, which, as you know, as a financial advisor, successful
Yeah.
one at that, that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time savings. And when you're doing that, you want to make sure that you're using an approved vendor, because we've got to make sure that we're connecting that security again. I do think it's the future. You know, everybody's going to go on their own AI journey at their own speed. I happen to personally use Evernote, and I'm not sure what AI tool best integrates with Evernote yet, which is why I
Right.
haven't embraced it. But boy, when I do figure it out, you can be sure that I will, because how many pieces of paper do you have, or post-it notes do you have around your desk on any given day, even though we have other technological tools? And if you can eliminate that physical note taking and pull everything together, I can't imagine how that's really next level efficiency for me.
Absolutely. And we actually use AI note taker. We're taking Jump and Zox, and
Yep.
we're beta testing both of them. And what the main thing for our viewers today, that deletes after you're done. There's a certain time frame, so it's not stored in the cloud, which costs money. I'm going to ask an out of the ballpark question here. Talk about AI in your personal use. You and I, just before this call started, talking about the use of AI, but tell me something that you've done, or maybe a family member's done, to use AI to make their life simpler or better.
Yes. Maybe this is a little, it sounds a little less personalized, but on the personal side, I'll give you a recent example. I found out that a friend of mine recently had found out that he had some cancer and he was going to be starting a journey. And I wanted to support him, and I wanted to send him something. I asked AI to give me examples of comforting gifts for a male who had found out this type of situation. And look, it gives you a whole list. You're still personally picking which one. What books could they recommend that I purchase and potentially send him? What messaging could they provide to try to, you can sit down and you can think about how you feel about something like that. And it could be as easy as a new baby or a birthday as well. It's just happened to be last week that I used it for something like that. But it gives you the idea generation and then allows you to personalize it from there, which is just really cool. You may miss things along the way. And then a little less serious use of it is, my daughter just did a cross country move and she used it to map out her routes. She provided all of their goals around their trip, and it spit back the RV parks they could stay at, the hotels they could consider, the cities they might want to stop in. It just really does start to narrow. I'm actually planning a trip to Greece, and I was down to 2 resorts, and I asked it to summarize for me. I have a 15-month-old up to a 60-year-old. There's 9 of us. These are the 2 resorts I'm thinking about. Summarize the differences for me and tell me what I should be thinking about as I'm choosing this resort. And it was really, really valuable for that. So just a few examples.
Yeah, they say AI is going to make our quality of life better, and that's 2 good examples of helping us think. So, well, Amy, again, I appreciate your time today. Our goal on the SA update is to pick a subject and just do a quick hit on it. And again, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for being a trailblazer in the industry, and thank you for support and letting offices like ours use this. So I'm Mike Schuster for the SA update, and thank you for joining us today.